Streaming on clickorlando.com. You're watching News 6 at 10.
It's mucky. It's disgusting.
It is a terrible and sad situation.
Now on News 6, he's pressing Orlando to save the Swans with a third of the flock now dead. Already the changes, he says, need to happen right now.
It was a cold start this morning, even more cold coming on the pipeline as we get towards the end of this week. We're going to talk about how cold it gets in your neighborhood in a few minutes.
I just want to hug her. I really want to put my hands on her and hold her and hug her and just be grateful that she's okay.
Parents relieved lockdowns lifted, how a hoax call disrupted several local schools and what deputies are doing about it.
I want to have the memorial. I wanna finish this chapter of my life.
That Pulse survivor is one of many longing for a permanent memorial. How a vote today helps move that construction forward at last. But we start now at 10 tonight with a push to save a symbol of the city beautiful. As we learn, 6 more swans have now died. An online petition is calling for expert care, a cleaner habitat, and better water quality at Lake Eola. I'm Ginger Gadsden. Thank you for joining us.
I'm Matt Austin. Glad you're with us tonight. With at least 26 swans now dead from bird flu, the park has lost more than a third of its flock. The volunteer behind the petition shares his concerns with your Orlando community correspondent, Troy Campbell.
With the announcement of 6 more swan deaths, we spoke to a man who started a Change.org petition calling on better care for the swans here at Lake Eola.
These swans can't speak for themselves, so they rely on human care and human intervention to help give them the quality of life that they deserve.
Andrew Marshall says he's been a volunteer caretaker for the swans at Lake Eola for the past 5 years.
We've become intimately aware of what happens at the lake, what doesn't happen, what it looks like on a daily basis, and who does and who doesn't care for the swans and what they need.
With the recent avian influenza outbreak, killing at least 26 Lake Eola swans so far, Marshall created this Change.org petition, demanding better care for the birds that are a symbol of the city.
Unfortunately, the city park at Lake Eola is under-resourced. So I know that there really needs to be some avian experts and animal experts on staff.
Marshall's also concerned with the trash at the park and the water quality.
If you've been down to the park, you've seen some of the trash that's consistently in the lake. It's mucky, it's disgusting.
It is a terrible and sad situation.
On Monday, Orlando City Commissioner Patty Sheehan defended the city's response to the outbreak, saying they are doing everything they can.
When I first got elected, nobody was taking care of the swans. We've instituted a veterinary program, a feeding program, all these things to take care of our beloved Lake Eola swans, and we will continue to do so.
You've been to Lake Eola before. Tell me, what did you observe differently here today?
I have been noticing a lot less of the swans here. Usually you see them all over the coast throughout.
Morgan Todd was having a picnic at Lake Eola when we caught up with her on Monday.
None of them have really come up to us even anymore. Last time I was here, I was literally surrounded by swans, and now they're not even in the vicinity, which is honestly kind of upsetting.
Marshall says he hopes to work with the city to make changes.
We want to be part of a solution, but unfortunately you haven't allowed us to be. So we're asking you to take measures to make meaningful change, to be responsible swan stewards.
We also asked the city what is their total budget for their swan program and if they plan to replace any, but we've yet to hear back. We've also put a link to that petition on our website, clickorlando.com. In Orlando, I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
All right, it was a chilly start to your week today, and by the end of this week, it's going to be much colder.
Oh, yeah, this is nothing right now. Let's get you to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas.
Yeah, this is like shorts weather for sure. Compared to what's coming. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, coldest air of the season looks likely by the end of this week, and we might be even able to go colder as we get into the early stages of next work week. So a couple of big time cold fronts coming on the pipeline. This was just kind of the appetizer. 57 degrees right now in Sanford, Palm Coast. Good evening. We are at 56. Ocala checking in at 52. Melbourne, we're doing all right tonight. We're hanging around 60 degrees. Certainly jacket worthy if you're headed out this evening. There is the front from this morning or yesterday afternoon as that came through. well towards our south and east, pushing off of our coast. Tomorrow, we already start to warm things back up just a little bit. It's still going to be chilly when you wake up tomorrow morning, certainly jacket-worthy weather in the morning. But then with the help of a little bit of sunshine, we get back to the mid-60s already by 10, back to the lower 70s by 1 o'clock. And we'll keep things mild until we get to Wednesday. That's when increased rain chances ahead of the front. The front itself comes through on Thursday. The cold arrives on Friday. We're going to take it day by day and hour by hour coming up at about 10:19, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Breaking now at 10 tonight, Brevard County Schools alerting parents a music director who works at 3 schools is facing charges accused of abusing his authority and having lewd relations with a 16-year-old student. Here's the mugshot for 19-year-old Brandon Foreman, who taught percussion. The arrest report says he first met the 16-year-old a year and a half ago when he was an intern, but after he was hired, she says they kissed at least 10 times after private lessons in the band room at Bayside High. She also claims he touched her inappropriately over the last month. Palm Bay police interviewed her Friday, then arrested him on the job about 4.5 miles north at Southwest Middle School. Turns out he teaches music at 3 local schools. A judge agreed to let him out of jail on Saturday morning, but he cannot have contact with the victim, return to the school, or have unsupervised contact with anyone underage. Brevard School says he has been permanently barred from their campuses.
It's been a scary start to the new year for students and parents in Central Florida. At least 3 different school districts have experienced lockdowns in the past week. The latest today in Lake County, a threat to Lake Minneola High School led to a lockdown of several other schools nearby. Fortunately, that threat turned out to be bogus, but it created some real fear for Lake Minneola parents. Some waited outside for more than 4 hours to reach their kids. They shared their relief with News 6's Mike Valenti.
I just want to hug her. I really want to put my hands on her and hold her and hug her and just be grateful that she's okay.
Well, it was like an adrenaline rush. My heart was pounding. I went back, and my initial thought was, if I hear or see anything, I'm going to take action. So.
Is he scared right now?
Yeah, he was pretty scared. Yeah.
The world we're in now, you fear the worst.
We had gotten the notification that there was school went on lockdown. It was a code red. So, that's like the scariest one. So I turned around and came back.
I was actually in my pajamas originally. I ran out of the house.
What's your first thought when you hear the words code red?
Active shooter, and just panic, to be honest.
I've been here since a little after 10 a.m.
What has today been like for you?
Miserable, horrible. I've cried a few times because you get a lot of mixed information.
You just heard from Autumn Burton and Adal Lopez in their own words. Again, the most important thing, that threat Monday deemed not credible. Kids were dismissed around the regular time, 2:20, and the afternoon schedule of activities continued as normal. Now, out of an abundance of caution, nearby schools, including elementary schools, were also put on a soft lockdown, but those lockdowns were lifted. I'm Mike Valenti, reporting outside Lake Minneola High School, News 6.
Tonight, firefighters still haven't revealed the cause of a tragic fire in Brevard County, one that took the lives of a 10-year-old boy and a 74-year-old woman. It happened around 2:20 this morning on Janus Road Northeast, west of I-95. Palm Bay Fire Rescue tells us the house was packed full of items which helped fuel the fire, which grew quickly. A woman who made it out alive told them the 2 others were trapped inside. The size of the fire, rescuers kept rescuers from reaching the woman and a 10-year-old named Noah.
This has got a lot of layers to it, unfortunately. From a boots on the ground, first responder aspect of it, it's very, very difficult for them to want to do their job, and unfortunately, they just weren't able to do that.
We'll keep you posted as fire investigators reveal more.
Well, tonight, nearly 10 years after the Pulse nightclub tragedy, Orlando's City Council approved grant money earmarked for the permanent memorial to start construction. Your Orange County community correspondent Tylisa Hampton spoke to the people most affected by the decade delay.
It's a process at Post that's now been 10 years in the making.
All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
On Monday, the Orlando City Council approved a restrictive covenant agreement for a nearly $400,000 state grant for the Post Memorial site. The agreement prevents the city from selling, transferring, mortgaging, or assigning the property without state approval. The site marks the location of the 2016 mass shooting at the LGBTQ nightclub where 49 people were killed.
It's fine. It's going to be 10 years this year, 10 years. And we're still on the same page. We still not have no memorial.
After seeing years of little be done, it's a welcome process for some survivors and family members like Lolly Santiago Leon, whose cousin Luis Daniel Wilson Leon died.
It's a form of patience. It is definitely very difficult. But I'm happy to see in my heart, it's a healing. It's a form of healing.
For Christine Leinonen, who lost her son, Drew, in the shooting, she disagrees with the city's plans.
They're not memorializing the reality of the trauma. They're trying to, whitewash it, pretty it up. They're trying to make something horrific into something touristic.
For Joshua Hernandez Carrion, who was shot during the attack and is living in Puerto Rico, he wants each life to be remembered.
I want to have the memorial. I wanna finish this chapter of my life because I want to keep with my life. I don't want to keep being in 20 years talking the same thing.
Construction is set to begin this fall. They hope to finish next year.
Well, tonight, Crew 11 is one big step closer to a return to Earth. Ahead at 10, why the ringing of a bell helped clear the way for them to return nearly a month early. And then we'll tell you when they'll splash down.
And this is likely the video of the day. It's not often you see local deputies chasing a guy on a motorcycle, including a deputy on a motorcycle of his own. But wait until you see and hear how this came to an end.
Results after a News 6 investigation. Last November, we told you about an Apopka family who lost tens of thousands of dollars after a roofing company cashed their insurance check but never replaced their roof. Now, another company saw that report and is replacing the family's roof at no charge. I'm investigator Louis Bold, and we'll have the story next.
You're watching News 6 at 10 on a Monday night. We're covering Cape Canaveral, UCF, and all of Central Florida.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers.
It's a weight that's been lifted off of my shoulders, an extreme weight.
Well, now on News 6, after a News 6 investigation.
Last November, we told you about an Apopka family who lost tens of thousands of dollars after a roofing company cashed their insurance check but never replaced their roof.
Now, another local company, 3MG Roofing and Solar, saw that story and contacted investigator Lewis Bolden, offering to replace the family's roof at no charge. Here's Lewis with the big development.
The sound of construction. The sound of shingles being ripped from the roof, making way for a new one. For Steve Coleman's family has been a long time in the making.
How does that make you feel? You know, there's still good people in this world, and, you know, 3MG, John, Danny at 3MG Roofing, they proved that when they saw the story on News 6.
The story was how the Colemans signed a contract for a roof replacement with a company called Hurricane Roofer. According to court records, Coleman's insurance company settled a claim for a new roof and issued a check for $28,000, made payable to Steve and his wife Yvette, Hurricane Roofer, and Rocket Mortgage. Coleman's insurance company confirmed Hurricane Roofer cashed the check in July of 2025, but never returned to replace the roof.
We saw a post actually on Facebook about the story and about what was going on with the Colemans.
John Hagan is a sales manager with 3MG Roofing and Solar.
I sent a text to my main two owners, said, hey, there's somebody in our community that could use some help, and are you guys down to make this happen? And without hesitation, they responded yes, and here we are.
3MG Roofing says this will be a quick job. The roof replaced, even the dumpster removed, all in 2 days. 3MG Roofing and Solar is replacing the roof at no charge to the Colemans. One owner told me because they didn't want the whole industry to get a bad rap.
We do right.
Dexter Grant is a senior project manager.
And we just want to make sure, we still just go into each community, leave a good impression.
And after that initial story with Mr. Coleman, even more victims came forward with complaints about the same company.
My jaw dropped.
We saw the News 6 article with the Colemans. We're like, that is exactly what's happening to us here.
In Palm Beach County, Scott Barr and Christina Baez and their neighbor, Charlie Benoit, say they paid Hurricane Roofer $11,000 deposits last year. And 7 months later, no roof and no communication.
As soon as I paid him, everything changed.
The Colemans still haven't received their money, but at least now they have a new roof.
I can honestly say prayer changes things because, again, 3MG showed up when it seems like, all hope was lost.
News 6 called the business number for Hurricane Roofer and it has been disconnected. We tried the owner's personal cell and did not get a response. Lewis Bolden, News 6.
Developing tonight, Marion County is releasing video of a high-speed chase with a man on a motorcycle ending with a biker behind bars.
Yeah, this is probably the video of the day. Take a look.
It looked like he was reaching for the gun to turn around and point it at me, but he ended up tossing it on.
So deputies arrested this man, 46-year-old Terry Fisher, after they say he sped off from a traffic stop on Wednesday. They say he was weaving around construction cones when they tried to pull him over. During the chase, deputies claim Fisher tossed methamphetamine, cocaine, and a gun from his motorcycle. A second deputy joined in the pursuit and canine units helped bring it to an end. Fisher is in custody on several charges, including fleeing and eluding and possession of a firearm as a convicted felon.
And liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Another successful Falcon 9 launch from the Cape at 4:10 this afternoon. SpaceX sent up another 29 Starlink satellites. The first stage made its 25th landing on the Just Read the Instructions drone ship in the Atlantic.
And we are counting down to an unprecedented splashdown in the Pacific. Crew 11 is set to return to Earth Thursday, a full month early, marking the first time a mission at the ISS has ever been cut short.
Last week, we learned a crew member had a medical issue, and today, astronauts held a change of command ceremony.
It's the key to the ISS. So, Sergei, do you accept command of the International Space Station?
Yes, I accept command of International Space Station.
I didn't know the ISS had a key. Is
I know,
there a front door?
What if he said no?
Not going to do it. Now, former station commander Mike Fink is a member of the returning Crew 11 team.
NASA's plan for them to undock at 5 Wednesday afternoon. Splashdown would follow just before 4 in the morning on Thursday off the California coast. Of course, we will be bringing you every update, every step of the way. It's a big deal that this is happening, and we wish that astronaut, whatever the problem, very well and safe travels.
Hopefully
back
they'll
here.
be all right. All right, let's get you over to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, who has a look at these temperatures, which have dropped already, and they're going to drop some more.
They will. They're going to drop a lot by the end of this work week and into the weekend, guys. Right now, we're doing okay. Certainly cool out there, but this is going to be nothing compared to what's coming. Oviedo, good evening. We are at 56. Melbourne, we're hanging around 60 right now. Wildwood, Bushnell, we're back to the mid-50s. We are at 53 degrees for us in Mount Dora in the Villages tonight. Here's a live look outside downtown Orlando. We still have those clouds hanging around, and I do think we'll keep the clouds around for a good chunk of the night. That's actually going to help to keep our temperatures up a little bit this evening and into the overnight and when you wake up tomorrow. So I am expecting temperatures to be running about 10 degrees, give or take, above where we were this morning. Again, that's a live look outside in downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. We're at 55 at the airport. The breeze out of the north, bringing in that colder air out of at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. I think we keep that breeze overnight and really for the first part of tomorrow morning before it gradually tapers off into your afternoon. Tomorrow, we're starting things off pretty much where we are right now, into the mid to upper 50s. 47 in Ocala. We're at 45 degrees in Denellen. We're not going to move much again, thanks to the clouds. And I think we'll keep the clouds to start with a few breaks by the afternoon, which will help to get our temperatures back to pretty much right where we should be for this time of the year. Average is in the low 70s. That's pretty much where we are. We're at 71 in Groveland tomorrow. Good evening in Daytona Beach. We're hanging around 70 as well. 68 in Palm Coast. The front that came through today is now back off southeast of us. The system that we are tracking for the end of the work week is all the way to the north, well north of us, south of the Hudson Bay. That's the one with all the Arctic air with it, and that blasts through on Thursday, first giving us some rain chances Wednesday into Thursday, and then the cold air to follow. So there's 8 o'clock on your Wednesday evening, dodging a couple of straight downpours in the mix. There's not a ton of rain with this. We could use it, but there's not a ton coming. That's 9, 10 o'clock on your Thursday morning. That is the front itself. Notice how quickly we clear things out. That is that big blast of dry and cold air. High pressure plops right on top of us, and that allows our temperatures to plummet to this, likely the coldest air of the season for most of Central Florida. That'll put us into the mid to upper 20s in Marion and Sumter County, 36 in Orlando, the freezing mark in Sanford. There might even be room for us to drop a little bit colder than that current forecast on Friday. So it's going to be cold. 67 degrees on Wednesday. We're back to the low 60s for highs on Thursday with the clouds, with the showers, and then with that colder air arriving in the morning. Those temperatures actually tumble through the afternoon until we bottom out into the 20s and 30s on Friday. Sunshine is dominant on Friday, guys. It doesn't really help much. We're back to the upper 50s. Decent looking weekend. It's cool, but mid to upper 60s with sunshine. Cold front number 3 comes in Sunday into Monday. That takes us back into the 30s, guys.
Hey, it's wintertime. It's January. This is what it is. Well, a heads up if you still pay bills or send important paperwork through the mail.
Yeah, a new post office rule can change the difference between on time and late. Next at 10, Alex Cook explains what this means for your mail.
This box is where the clock starts for a lot of people. You take your important mail like a tax return or a bill to pay, you send it out, and you expect it to be postmarked the same day you dropped it off. But now, the date on your envelope might actually be later than when you dropped it off. That's because of the U.S. Postal Service's new rule that says they will postmark mail once it reaches the sorting facility, not when you first drop it off. Some people are worried that this could mean things like missed deadlines and late bills, even though they've dropped their mail off on time. Kathy Clark is used to frustrations with her mail.
I had a package delivered or thought it was delivered.
When I told her the new postmark rules, she worried about people trying to pay their bills on time.
There are many people, even those remaining older than me, that use mail all the time. So I think it's a huge concern.
Before, as long as they got their payment in the mail by its due date, it was paid on time. Now that the rules changed and the mail may be dated a day or two later, that same payment could be marked as late. Clark remembers how concerned her mother was about postmark dates.
Would go down and pay her bill at KUA directly. You know, she wouldn't even mail it because she was concerned about turnover time. So yeah, that's a huge concern.
Another huge concern is mail-in voting. But the new post office rule isn't likely to affect elections in Florida, because here, only ballots the Supervisor of Elections office has in hand by 7 p.m. on Election Day are counted. The postmark doesn't matter. There are rare exceptions, though. The Osceola County Supervisor of Elections says the only ballots that can be accepted after Election Day and may be impacted by any changes with postmarks are overseas ballots.
It's one more problem in that domino of mail-in voting that is already problematic.
Same for tax returns. Drop it off just before midnight on April 15th, and it's likely to be stamped the next day and considered late. The takeaway? Mail early, because under the new rule, the date that counts could be a day or two after you hit the mailbox. In Kissimmee, Alex Cook, News 6.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here on TV at 11 o'clock.
Good night.